ladies. Hello. Let's see here. How are y'all doing? We are going live right now from Boulder, Colorado. I'm going to invite a few friends here. Remind them that we're going live every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific. And I love it when you guys hop on and join me because we always have a great conversation. You can put your comments and your questions and in the comments, and I will answer them when I can. Today's a little unusual. I'm actually at a hotel, and I just kind of grabbed this space and I got away with it. So you guys have a nice little background. And I have a nice place to go live. And hi, Judy. Judy's in the house. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of weird. I was walking around the hotel and it's like, where can I go do this live where it's not noisy? So Judy, could you let me know if you can hear me okay or if it's too loud? Just drop in the comments below, thumbs up if it's good. I see there's other people too, but I don't see them on camera that are joining me. You guys, is the sound okay? Or is it too loud? Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, Tana, thank you very much. Okay, I was trying to determine if my earbuds were connected to my laptop or my phone. You know, all this tech stuff. Anyway, Tana, it's great to see you. I hope you stick around, and if you don't, you know, you can always, thank you, Brenda, watch this live later. Hi, Anne. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you're joining us. Yeah, tonight we have a great topic, you guys. I think it's pretty cool. It's like, okay, what agreements do you need to let go of? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And since it's 7:30 or beyond, I'm just going to start. So I wanted to let you know, tonight we're talking about what agreements do you need to let go of, okay? Agreements that you need to break to be free. And then I'm going to finish up with agreements that you want to truly adopt so that you serve yourself in a better way. Welcome, Susan's in the house. Nice to see you guys. So if you are new to my live streams, welcome. I am Shelly Marinka, owner and founder of this awesome women's Facebook group, Women Wanting More, and also owner and founder of Inspired Living with Shelly Marinka. A little redundant, but that's the truth. There's too many inspired livings out there. So I want to personally welcome all the new members to our group. You guys, in the last 3 weeks, we've added almost 200 women. So what's that telling you? There's a lot of women out there that are wanting more. And if you're someone that's new, I welcome you, and I'm really glad that you're here. I am a women's empowerment coach, and I offer programs and courses to help women like you set themselves free of the past, of obstacles that are holding them back. And so you can step into your power. You can step into confidence. You can step into a life that you love. And there's Martina in the house. Martina, what's going on? And so you can step into life with confidence and happiness and freedom and so much more. And more money. So, hey, let's get started. It's a really interesting topic right here about what agreements do we need to let go of, because oftentimes we don't even realize that we have agreements until someone points them out, or we begin to not second guess ourselves, but to ask ourselves, like, why did I say yes? Why did I do that? Why is my family treating me this way? Why is my spouse or significant other treating me this way? And what you may find is that internally, you've made an agreement with yourself and you are acting out and treating others, you know, perhaps with respect and honor. But guess what? Maybe they're not doing that to you. They're not treating you the same. And you deserve to be treated well, but unless you speak up and unless you have an agreement that serves you versus an agreement that doesn't serve you, then you're in trouble. And Anne says, I want to give up the agreement I often back into compromise. Exactly, Anne, that's exactly what I'm talking about, are those kind of agreements. So if you're going, what the heck is Shirley talking about? Like, what kind of agreements? That is actually one of them. And I'm going to give you 5 agreements that you may end up finding yourself having that you didn't even know that you had. And compromising is one where we are not speaking our voice, right? We're not speaking up for what we want. We are not expressing our emotions and sharing them. And so we call it compromise. Often I hear women say, oh, I don't like to be confrontational. But there's all kinds of interesting words. Welcome in the house, Rebecca. I'm so glad you're here. There's all kinds of names that we can put to that. But really what we're doing is we're not honoring ourselves. And there's a reason that we're not doing that. And it's interesting that throughout our lives, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be up on YouTube probably, we make agreements even without knowing it that go against ourselves. And these agreements can create endless and unnecessary suffering, right, in our lives. These agreements come from all kinds of different places, as you could imagine. But I'll give you some ideas. They come from parenting, like who parented us. We adopt agreements that we thought was the right thing to do. And so we adopt them from our education system, from our parents, from our families. And, this happens when we're growing up. And then the typical domestication process that happens in the world. And look, we're not unique in that because we're all humans and we all go through the same experience. But here's the thing, some of the agreements that we've grown up with, that we've adopted unknowingly, that we're not really truly responsible for until we have awareness around them, we didn't know any better. We didn't know any better. Everyone thinks that they're doing the right thing. Oh, I need to teach my children that. You go into religious institutions and they're teaching X, Y, Z. And so as humans, and being a part of peer groups, no matter what age. Hey, Kim and Lucy are in the house. Welcome, you guys. It's so great to see you. So great to have you here. That we are influenced beyond measure, and we just continue to adopt these beliefs and own these agreements that we think we're supposed to have. And here's the thing, this is where all our self-limiting beliefs come from. And we forget that we were born with wisdom, lovelies. That you were born with innate wisdom. And you were born with pure love. And you were born with intuition. And the cool thing is that that's how we're supposed to be operating. That's where we're supposed to be operating from. Not from our self-limiting beliefs, not from agreements that we didn't agree to own and live and have, right? So this is just so important. Hi, Jennifer. It's so great to see you. So this is where all our self-limiting beliefs come from. And so instead of building trust in our own inner wisdom, at about age 3 or 4, we start to believe that what we're being told about how we're supposed to behave, what we're supposed to look like, how we're supposed to dress, and all these things, we forget that we were born with wisdom and intuition. And we start to begin to believe in the lies that we're told, and most often they don't serve us. Sometimes they do, oh, the stove's hot, don't touch it. Okay, that serves us. But there's a lot of lies that we're told when we're growing up that do not serve us. So this is the opportunity for you to take a look at your beliefs, discover your self-limiting beliefs, own your agreements, and decide that you have the power to change them. So if we choose to develop new agreements and toss out the old ones, that we have, we can have personal freedom, right? We can live with personal freedom, make our own decisions. And what happens when we live that way? We are happy and we are filled with love and we're experiencing love. And this is what I call fully living. So the first agreement, go ahead and get your pen and paper. I forgot to remind you in the beginning, but my lives, everyone likes to take notes because it gives you some things to journal on, to think about, to self-reflect. And I am so glad you guys are all here. Again, if you're tuning in late, this is Shelley Marinkin. I'm owner of Inspired Living. If you're new to a live stream, drop a comment below and say you're new. Also, I love to have your comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from if this is your first one. And then also if you have questions or comments, just put them in the comments below. And, as we're interacting, even though, I can't hear you, but I can see your comments. I'm happy to comment on them, give you some answers, and we'll go from there. So the first agreement that you want to break, number 1, is saying yes when it's a hell no. That's an agreement we have with ourselves oftentimes, and especially as women, as moms, we feel like we are meant to serve all the time. Hi, Shelba's from Texas. Texas is in the house. Nice to see you. Thank you. Give me a thumbs up, you guys, if this is your first time, or a smiley face, your favorite emoji if you've been here before. So saying yes when it's a hell no is not serving us, right? And the reason that we do that oftentimes is because we want to be liked. We want to feel accepted. And that's a limiting belief that we have, is that if we say yes, then we're loved. If we say no and we're confrontational, we speak our voice, then we're not loved and love is taken away from us. So that's screwed up to begin with, right? So you want your yes to be a hell yes, and you want your no to be a hell no. And I know there's some people in our lives, like mine in particular, where they're kind of like kryptonite. You get near them and all of a sudden you feel like, you can't talk, or you feel really uncomfortable in your throat, or you get, an odd sensation in your stomach, and it's like you feel uncomfortable that you can't that you can't express your voice, and that you won't be accepted. So what I want to encourage you to do is begin to say yes when it's a hell yes, and no, that 2-letter word that's really hard. Say no when you mean it, okay? Because we are asked all day long, whether it's work, in meetings, career, families, extended family, neighbors, oh, will you do this? Will you do this? Will you do this? Will you do this? Will you come here? Will you do that? And it's like, hell, why not? Sure, why not? Sure, why not? And before you know it, all of your agenda is over here, and you're continuing to serve by default. So really, that's something to think about and ponder, and ask yourself why, if you are someone who is saying yes when you mean hell no, why you're saying that and what you can do about that to change that. Desiree and Rebecca, it's so great to see you. Number 2 agreement you want to break with yourself is looking and seeking for other people's approval and permission. And this kind of goes back to 1, they're semi-related, right? We often look externally outward to get permission or validation or people's approval before we take action on something. It could be as simple as what we're wearing or how we look, or an idea that we have, and a future dream that we want to begin to implement. And then you're running across all these naysayers that say, are you kidding me? That's going to cost you so much money. You're going to lose your ass on that. Or what makes you think you're so good at that? So we really have to be sure that we are listening to our internal compass, which is our inner wisdom and our intuition, and you all have it. And it's the most beautiful thing you will ever discover about yourself is your inner wisdom and your intuition. You have all the answers inside. It's just that it has been blocked from the muddy waters of life, from our environment. Hey, Danielle, you're actually here. I love it. So nice to see you. So we want to make sure that we are not making our decisions based on what's external, because that can change at any time. And God knows we're all witnessing that right now, right? Like, I'm in a hotel and it's great. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm drinking some water, having some hors d'oeuvres, doing my work. And it feels like real life. But there's so many scare tactics out there that people aren't leaving their house. They're afraid to go out and live. And I want to encourage you to live. And so we've got more agreements here. Hey, Tina, welcome. It's nice to see you in the house. Okay, so number 1, saying yes when it's a hell no, break that agreement. Number 2, looking and seeking for other people's approval and permission before you take action. Hell no, get rid of that agreement. Tap into your own inner wisdom and your intuition. And Anne says you can say no and still project a loving heart. Absolutely, and that's a really good point. And here the thing is like, when someone asks you to do something, you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't really even want to answer it right then, you can say, you know what, let me think about that. I'll get back to you. And the thing is yes, you can. Saying no doesn't mean that you're a bad person. However, and I'm really grateful you brought that up, because people often will feel like, oh my God, they're not going to love me if I say no. So you can project a loving heart by saying no, right? Sarah needed this. You're not alone, honey. We all need it. So I'm glad that you're here. So number 3 is the belief that you need to be somebody else. Like, how many people that are watching this right now, or even in post-broadcast, because it'll stay here on Women Wanting More for a while, then it'll be uploaded on my YouTube channel. How many of you feel right now, or you have in the past, that you need to be somebody else? Like you have influence on you from your parents. You know, maybe you're younger and they're deciding for you what your career is. And maybe you're not younger, they're still trying to decide what you should be doing with your life, right? Boy, I need to break some agreements, and I'm so programmed. We're all programmed, Kim, I'm telling you. And so this is such a hot topic. And I've got a very special gift idea for you at the end. And if I thought about this earlier, it would be a gift giveaway. So I'll think about that for the next live. But people have expectations of us, and this is what I want to share with you, that other people's opinions and expectations of who they think you should be is none of your business. I'll say it again. Other people's opinions and expectations of you are none of your business. That's their projections on you. However, because we grow up with self-limiting beliefs and projections from everyone around us, like I mentioned earlier in the video, we want to fit in, we want to be accepted, we want to feel loved. So we feel like, okay, my parents think that I should be working a 9-to-5 job. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, right? I did a 9-to-5 job once when I was 18. It was like, oh my God, I'm done with that. I can't do that, right? How many of you have done something that just didn't feel good, but actually you kept doing it because someone important in your life said, you got to stay in that job, you got to stay in that career, you know? Patrice, nice to see you. So we have strong influences in our lives, whether it's a significant other, a family member, cousins, mom and dad, a boss, a professor, whatever. There's so much outside influence, you guys, that, you know, many of us are, what do they call them, chameleons? Geckos, chameleons, you know, we just kind of, it's like you go in the forest and you go in nature and you see the creation that God's made, and it's like you see the squirrel and all of a sudden he's gone and he's blending in with the tree, and you know, that's what we do because we don't want to stand out, and sometimes we're afraid to speak our voice, and we don't have enough confidence for what we want, but maybe we have this deep desire in our heart. Lisa, welcome, it's great to see you. We have this deep desire in our heart, and we're afraid because change is scary, and we share it with someone, you know, a friend or a family member or a parent, that, you know, I really have this desire and this dream and I want to do X, Y, Z, and they, you know, they're not supporting you in that. So there's all kinds of external influence that can change who we are and keep us from becoming who we're truly meant to be. So that was a long one on this, but it's so important, you guys, that belief has to be in yourself. Hi, Linda, welcome. You've got to believe in yourself and believe who you are, and that you don't need to be somebody else, and you don't need to be a projection of what somebody else thinks you need to be. Love, you are so beautiful with who you are, with all the wisdom, all the heart, all the intuition that you have. I encourage you to, Danielle's back, I encourage you to step out and be who you are. And it takes courage, but every day do one thing to help build that confidence to become more and more of who you're meant to be. And it all begins with our inner wisdom and our intuition, because you already know what your soul's purpose is and why you were brought here. Everybody has a soul's purpose, and you were brought here for brilliance, to make a difference, to share your magnificent, to share your gifts and talents with us. You know, we're all so unique. What, you know, I've always said this, like, for decades. It's like, what would the world look like if we all stepped into our gifts and talents? Oh my God, would that be so amazing? Like, nobody would be depressed or bored or sad or feel, you know, controlled, that they're not being able to live their best life. Because when we live who we're meant to be and step into our gifts and talents, and greatness becomes when comfort and ease, no, when challenge and contribution become more important than comfort and ease. Your greatness begins when challenge and contribution become more important than comfort and ease in your life, friends. And I know it's not easy, change isn't easy, but you can do it, because that's where your greatness lies, okay? And then the number 4 agreement is this one that you have with your ego and your subconscious, that you're saying to them, again, unconsciously, okay, ego, I'm going to listen to you and do what you tell me to do. And here's the thing, our ego, plays a really important part in our life, but only back in the cave days when we were running for our life with fight or flight. But you know what? We're all protected now. And so our ego still acts as if we need protection and to stay within our little four walls and don't do this, because it's not safe. And certainly don't think about changing into a new career because, oh my God, you're going to be getting out of your comfort zone and bad things are going to happen. Our ego is our programming that doesn't really serve us. It's there to keep us safe. And yes, in some times in our life, it's very, very important. However, really, the subconscious is running our lives now too, because the ego and the subconscious talk to each other. And the subconscious comes from your subconscious runs you by the self-limiting beliefs, and those self-limiting beliefs come from early on in all that programming that I talked about earlier, right? So here's the thing. You do not want to honor that agreement that you have with your ego and your subconscious any longer that is telling you how to run your life, because it's old patterning, it's from the past, and it's trying to keep you safe. And so there's no life in that. There's no expansion and there's no freedom, right? So you want to overrule your subconscious by having an awareness of your thoughts, and then you're in control of your thoughts and your emotions, which produces your actions, which produces the end result in your life where you are right now, where you're sitting or standing right now, the house that you're living in or not, the car that you're living in, the job that you have. It's all been from decisions that you've made. And here's the thing and the secret. When we have awareness about our thoughts, we can change them. But if we're living unconsciously without awareness and just running our lives through conditioning and routine by default, then nothing will ever change, right? It's when we embrace change that new things will happen, because if we're not changing and growing, we're dying. And if you're continuing to do the same thing but hoping for a different result, that's also known as insanity. Albert Einstein said that a long, long time ago. So if you're wanting change, you guys, you want to rise up, you want to make a shift in your life, you know that there's more to life than what you're living right now, but you're not taking any actions to change, I want to encourage you to begin to take those tiny baby steps to make changes in your life. Otherwise, everything will stay the same, okay? So, and then the last agreement that you want to break, this is really interesting. This is very interesting, okay? It's the glass ceiling that you have for your own income. Yeah. So how many of you out there have been working in a job that isn't paying you what you feel that you deserve? That your income isn't even enough to take care of, your monthly bills. Why is that? Because subconsciously, we have a belief that there is a limit on how much we can make to feel safe. And truly, there is. There is. We all have a limitation for our income. And like mine recently, several months ago actually, when I started this new training program, it was like $10,000 a month, okay? But it was like anything over that, it was like, ooh, that feels a little uncomfortable. And so I sat with that. I went to go visit that. I was like, what's that all about? And since then, I've done a lot of mindfulness training and expanding. And now like $25,000 a month feels great, right? So we all have a limited income ceiling, glass ceiling. And it has to do with our self-worth. And whatever we believe we can achieve is really where it's going to end. So if you feel that you can only make $2,000 a month, and that's all you can make, guess what? You're right. And if you feel like you can step into expanding and calling in, larger sums of money and become a money magnet, there's all kind of affirmations that I have about that, then the universe listens to you and it'll deliver. So whatever you're thinking and believing, you're right. And it goes back to our thoughts, you guys. We've got to change those so that it serves ourselves. So those are the 5 agreements, okay? And if you missed them, go back and listen to it. And if someone wants to type them in while I'm talking, number 1 is saying yes when it's a hell no. These are agreements to break. Number 2, looking and seeking for other people's approval or permission before you take action. Number 3 is a belief that you need to be somebody else other than yourself. Number 4 is an agreement with your ego and your subconscious to remain the same and stay in your comfort zone. And number 5 is the agreement you have with your glass ceiling for your income. So letting go of these limiting and often disempowering beliefs, well, here she is. Hello, Lucy. Nice to see you in the house. Okay, let me say that again. Letting go of these limiting and often disempowering beliefs that we have for ourselves. When we let go of them, we can begin to embrace and live with a new set of agreements that serve us, that honor our inner wisdom and our intuition. And we can develop a deep awareness of the power of self, right? And return to our authentic self, which is our divine nature, which is what I was talking about when you're a brand new baby. You're born with this inner wisdom and this intuition and pure love. And guess what? You're still that. It's just that we've built and covered it up a lot, and now we're kind of living in muddy waters and so on and so forth. So, and I teach this all the time in my courses because developing a deep awareness of the power of self is the way to change our life for good, right? And to actually live the life that we want, instead of being disempowered, believing that the life that we have right now is the only life that we can have, okay? And I teach this because it has to do with mindset and our thoughts and our thinking, and that's paramount to moving forward in one's life. If you don't begin there with our inner wisdom and our personal power, you can do all kinds of things and make all kinds of changes, but your subconscious is going to sabotage you at any given moment. So that's what has to be reprogrammed. And so now that you have a list of agreements that you're going to break, let me give you some ideas and tips for agreements you want to adopt. And I've got 4 of them, okay? And they're going to honor your inner wisdom, and they're going to honor your intuition, and they're going to bring more self-love into your heart. You ready? You guys ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Give me your favorite emoji. I love going on the broadcast after on post and seeing everybody's favorite emojis, from flowers to give me your favorite emoji in the comments, okay? So we've got new agreements, and they come from a book called The 4 Agreements, and it's written by Miguel Ruiz. Has anyone read that book? Drop in the comments below if you've read the book, The 4 Agreements. And if it's been a while, I encourage you to pick it back up. I just picked it up again. I had read it like 4 years ago, and I ordered it again because all my books are stored from me leaving last year in May. Okay, so pen and paper. Number 1 is be impeccable with your word. And this goes way beyond into the realm of the heavens when you read it in Don Miguel's book, The 4 Agreements. He expands on this in just beautiful ways. But as you can imagine, you know, your word should be something that you can honor. Hey, Robin, nice to see you. So you want to be impeccable with your word, but it's not just impeccable to, you know, I'll say, yes, Robin, you know what? I promise to do that tomorrow for you, and I'll connect and call you when it's done. And then I don't do it. There's no congruency with me, and I'm going to start beating myself up and feel bad about myself. And so, you know, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't say things that you're not going to do. But it goes beyond that, and it's also about being impeccable with your word, you know, for yourself. That means honoring what you are telling yourself, honoring the agreements that serve you. Yes, integrity, you know, congruency. It's so important, and when we can operate from that, our whole world will change. So I encourage you, that chapter in and of itself is so powerful in the book, The 4 Agreements. Okay, so that's your first agreement that you're going to adopt. Number 2 is not taking anything personally. And I remember learning this a long time ago, but before that, you know, I'll bet many of you can relate. Put a thumbs up if you can relate. You know, someone treats you in a way that doesn't feel good, or they don't respond to you when you made a phone call, you sent a text, and then you start having all these ideas and thoughts in your head like, oh my gosh, the last time we were together, she kind of implied that she was irritated by something, but she never said anything, and then you start to take responsibility for that stuff and owning it, and it doesn't even exist, right? So not taking anything personally means really it's not about you, my friend, it's about them. So it's important to take responsibility for who you are and own it. But most often when something's upsetting and we want to take it personally, it's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that, then they wouldn't behave this way. Or, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have behaved that way on a date, and that's why he's not calling me. We're ruminating with all these self-limiting beliefs that we've told ourselves to be true. Hey, I'm stupid, and he probably saw that because I'm blonde. Or I wear glasses and he probably doesn't like that. Or, the list goes on. So don't take anything personally and begin to honor who you are. Believe in yourself. Stop doubting yourself and give it back to them. And if you have a question about it, then you pick up the phone and you go, hey, Robin, the other day I kind of felt like, what I said maybe bothered you a little bit. And then, she's going to go, no. And then, then she might go on about, oh, that was about something else. So anyway, number 3, don't make assumptions. And that's kind of related to not taking anything personally. They're kind of brother-sister. Never make assumptions. And I remember learning that too, like a long time ago. The cool thing is that we never know what anybody else is going through. We don't know what they're thinking. We will never, ever know what truly goes on in someone else's head or heart. So we cannot make assumptions. And the thing is when we make assumptions, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us. So it's best to ask questions, right? And inquire and be curious and not judge. Judging doesn't serve anybody. And actually, when we're judging, we're actually judging ourselves. So stop making assumptions. I love that. And as simple as some of these things seem to be, if you get that book, The Four Agreements, and you read him, he'll go deeper. And you'll learn how to even honor these in yourself in much more expansive ways. But even taking them on the superficial level is a beautiful gift you're going to give yourself. And then, sorry for these guys in the background. Let's see, are they cute? I don't know, I can't tell. Anyway, number 4 is always do your best. We're getting close to closing up the session here. Always do your best, okay? And that goes without saying. When we do our best, we are living in integrity. No matter what job you have, no matter what kind of relationship you have, you're honoring yourself when you're doing your best. And that's all that we can do. And when we do our best, then we know, I love it. When we do our best, then we know that we can sleep well at night. My coach, when I used to be a competitive athlete running on the track, at the end of the race, whether you won or not, he'd ask you and he'd look you straight in the eye and he'd go, did you leave anything on the track? Did you leave anything on the track? And what I'm going to ask you is, are you leaving anything in your life undone that's calling you to step up, to speak up, and to be who you were meant to be, right? When we leave stuff on the track, when we are not excelling and living in our, they're gone now, Patrice. What was I saying? When we are always doing our best, and not leaving anything on the track, not leaving anything undone, closing the loops, and stepping out in excellence, then we can feel good about ourselves. We don't have to second guess. We don't have to ruminate. I should have done this. I should have done that. What if? It's like, I knew my coach was going to ask me that, and it made me leave everything on the track. I mean, I had nothing left in me when I finished. They did distract me. I had nothing left in me when I finished the race. And I felt good. Because you know what I would have felt like? If it was just like, oh, God, I'm not going to push myself. I'm just going to let her win. Giving in and not allowing myself to excel because I don't think I can. Then how do I feel after that? It's like, damn, I could have won that race. But when you give life your all, you guys, when you let go of those agreements that are no longer serving you, that you didn't even honestly own in the beginning and adopt in the beginning, I challenge you to get 2 books. Hey, Linda, nice to see you. The Alchemist, to help you work with challenging your limiting beliefs and your beliefs, period, and the 4 Agreements. Those are 2 books for personal development that'll rock your world and change you from the inside out. And that's what we want. It's not the change on the outside. It's the change from the inside out. So I'm going to leave you guys with that and let you know that when we understand and we can master our thoughts, which begins with our mindset, then we can authentically live our truth and have the freedom to be who we're meant to be, right? So does anybody have any questions? I thank you guys so much for showing up on this live. I go live every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific time, and I love it when you join in. And you can ask questions or comments, and you can post some post-broadcast too, and I'll come back and answer them. You can also, if you want more inspiration, you go to my website at smarenka.com. I have a blog there that is full of really empowering and inspiring stuff. I am on Instagram under Inspired Living Michelle Marinka. I have a YouTube channel and a podcast. So if you want more of me, then just go there and be inspired. I have all kinds of different categories of topics, but it's really, truly all about loving yourself more, powering up your potential, and radically shifting your health. You are welcome, Danielle. I love you too. Desiree, you're welcome. Robin, I love you too. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for showing up for me, and thank you for showing up in your life. I love you guys. Until then, talk to you later. Ciao. Glad you enjoyed it, Linda. Brenda, you are welcome. And welcome to all our new members into the Vibe Tribe Women Wanting More. Ciao for now.